myself a girl and I wanna make her mine.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Eddie's Customs and Restoration. Here we have the N99 Series LED bulbs from NOVSIGHT. They're rated at 100 watts together, so that's 50 watts per bulb, and they deliver 24,000 lumens with a color tone of 6500 Kelvin. In the box, it's quite simple. You get a little instruction manual which tells you the orientation of the light bulbs when you install them, as well as the waterproof rating and the material, which is a heatsink aluminum, the lifespan, which is 100,000 hours, and the operating temperature. As for the build quality, they're aluminum, so pretty tough compared to plastic, so that's always a good thing. And there we have our little fan that's supposed to keep the LED cool, so looks pretty good overall. So now, let's get rid of these old headlights. So for this particular vehicle, you're going to need a 10mm socket and a ratchet, or in my case, I'm using a cordless ratchet from Milwaukee. If this tool interests you, which is super handy to have, I'll go ahead and find a kit for you on Amazon. That way you can get yourself one if you would like one. And truth be told, this Milwaukee tool is actually way better than my Snap-on one because I do have one of them as well. And the Milwaukee one was half the price. First thing we do is we push on the little clip that's on the side, and this will release that connector from the bulb. Then just wiggle it around and that connector should come out. As for the bulb, it works just as a traditional screw, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so you go to the left to loosen it up. As we mentioned before on the orientation of this bulb, it's very important that you set the orientation of this bulb to be vertical, not horizontally. This is done to ensure that you get the correct beam pattern on the road. To end up at this 12 o'clock position, you need to install the bulb first at about a 9 o'clock position to allow the bulb to go in and then lock in place once you rotate it to the right to lock it in. Another important step that most people miss is nobody ever really puts dielectric grease in their connectors. This is actually a very important step because it does a lot of things. It keeps moisture out of your connection, and it keeps the corrosion from building up, and it also lubricates a gasket or a seal that is actually in there inside of the connector, which is why now we're going to apply a little bit of dielectric grease also on the outer rim of the bulb socket itself. Once you get done, install the connector on the new bulb and give it a quick tug. You want to make sure you do this to make sure the connector locked in place. Then we do exactly as we did when we were taking it apart in the reverse manner, and that is installing our two 10mm bolts, tightening both of them up, and now we're all ready to go for a drive. So here we have some halogen bulbs. I actually had bought the brightest halogen bulbs I could get a long time ago, so these bulbs themselves are actually pretty bright. So I'm just demonstrating here what the low beam and the high beam look like before we went and changed over to the LEDs. So now let's bring in the LEDs and let's do exactly the same as we did with our halogen bulbs, which is cycling through the low beam and the high beam. Now I understand that not seeing these two headlights side by side may make it a bit difficult to see the difference, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put both the halogen and the LEDs at the same time on the screen so we can really get a better look at what's going on here. And here we go. Now we have both the halogen and the LEDs on the screen. I went ahead and chose this road because it's very dark and it really allows you to capture a lot of the details. You know, there's a lot of different things. There's grass, there's trees, there's road debris that's on the side of the road, there's potholes, and it allows us to really dig deep into seeing the depth and the detail and everything that we can find and get out of these lights to see if they're really up to par for the job, right? So what I noticed on the lights is that they are brighter than the halogen bulbs. Not by a huge amount, but they are a little bit brighter. They have a hotter spot on the center, as you're driving right in front of you. There is a much brighter spot right in the center, and the flood's about the same. I feel that the flood is about the same as far as side to side goes. And what I mean by the flood is the amount of light that travels off to the side. So I feel that that amount is about the same, but the biggest difference is the clarity that you get from these lights. Now here we're gonna switch over to our high beams now. And yeah, as I was saying, the clarity is pretty much what the trade-off here is. So with the halogen bulbs, you have a warmer look and the clarity of the items on the road. So if you see a dog, it's going to be a lot brighter, a lot easier to see and to notice versus using the halogen bulbs, because again, that warm color, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel that the white light helps a lot more to distinguish things on the road. So when it comes to brightness, the low beams, the center section is where these NOVSIGHT lights are really gonna excel. And on the high beams, as you can see right here, they have further reach. You can see the light actually going up the pole a little bit higher on these light poles, so they are brighter. They are, and you have a more focused hot spot or bright spot on the center of the road. So that is one upside to it. You will see a little bit better right in front of you. But as far as the flood goes, if you're looking for a much wider flood pattern on that part, I feel that it's going to be about the same. But it does differ from vehicle to vehicle. So that's something also to keep in mind. But overall, these lights get a thumbs up for me. Well, if you found value in this video, please hit the like button to let YouTube know that this is good content and it can continue pushing my videos forward to help other viewers. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, you guys be safe.